I told him when I come back, we're going swimming. So, tell everybody thank you for them. Скажи, дякую.
Дякую.
Не, английский.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, что? Very much. Еще раз.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Future president of Ukraine right here. All right. Greetings, everyone, and welcome. It is December the 30th, 2024, and we are rolling. I've got an action-packed live stream for you over the next hour or so. So much is happening. I know the big question is out there. Okay, Greg, when are you leaving for Ukraine? You said right after Christmas. I'm packing like crazy. And it's okay. I'm leaving on January the 1st in the morning. So yeah, you can see I'm packing, and tomorrow I'll finish that up. May have a live tomorrow, or for sure we'll do a facts only video. Stay tuned for that. And then I hit the road, and I do have a very, very difficult travel to get into Ukraine. I'll be flying into Warsaw and meet some of my friends there. I will then catch a couple of trains and get to my city in Khmelnytsky. And my team's there waiting. I was talking to Zhenya today, talking to Fish today, talking to others. And if you're here and you're new and you don't know these names, you will learn them in the month of January and February. You'll learn about others like Vadim and Wasp and all these Abraham Lincoln, all these frontline soldiers and teams and units that we help. And when I say we, that means you. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you do. Buckle your seatbelts, guys. A lot of information tonight. The title of the live stream is Great News for Ukraine. RU doubles down. Russia doubles down. No question, Russia doubles down. They triple down. They quadruple down. There's a lot of chaos happening right now in regard to journalist Gordon and all of his trashy comments and predictions about the war. And now he has come out and doubled down, stating what Russia is going to be doing. Yes, there was a question in the chat, and I'm just hitting the ground running. Welcome, everybody. There was this question in the chat. This was big news going on. Greg, any news about this? Russian hackers hijacked Ukrainian TV to fake warn about an Oreshnik attack. That is a fact. Every Ukrainian channel was hacked, and a big red screen went up. Honestly, I was going to maybe even take a screenshot of it and show it to you guys what it looked like, but it's, you know, I don't want to play into that. However, you can't ignore it, unfortunately, with the Oreshnik. So yes, there was just about an hour and a half ago, maybe 2 hours at the most, there was a full hack. So guys, I want you to think about that for a moment as we get started. Imagine wherever you're at today, the United States. I see you guys in here from Australia. I see you in here from Europe. We're from all over the world. Just imagine you're watching your evening news, or you're watching your favorite television show, whatever it may be, and all of a sudden your television screen goes red and it says, warning, warning, imminent Oreshnik, imminent attack coming on your country. You have been warned. Just think about that for a moment. That's the reality that the Ukrainians are living under right now. And unfortunately, in the world in which we live, you cannot ignore it. As we get going here, thank you all for jumping in. Guys, I am so pumped. I've got so much to share with you. It's like, as Prof says, it's I'm Dr. Energy, he's Dr. Synergy. And here, guys, here's another Ukrainian sweatshirt for you. Another one of my custom ones. And yes, I'm going to get into Ukraine and talk to the company, the people that make these, and see what the possibility is. As we get going, Papa Dutch, nice to see you in here. $5 super chat. In a world where horrible and disgusting things are happening, it is somehow reassuring to be able to do at least something positive. Here on that. And this is what we would say. I've got a new one for you, Papa.
Don't give up, keep on fighting. Дякуємо.
Don't give up. Keep on fighting. Thank you. That's from the 54th. I've got all night. $2 super chat. Let's roll, Brother Greg. Thank you for that, Papa. In fact, I'm getting ready to show you something, Papa Dutch. Petter Olsen with our Swedish non-smoking initiative. Petter, such a great supporter. And you know, that name now, Petter Olsen, has become synonymous with the non-smoking initiative on so many channels. Appa Talks, as always, good friend of Rick the Ukrainians channel, and appreciate you being a friend of our channel. Thank you for gifting that membership. So guys, so much to talk about, so much to get into. I do have my schedule. I've got everything right here. We're going to be talking about, so we talked about the warning and the hacker. There was a question in about that. Additionally, Gordon, I'm not even taking time to talk about that. The wacko journalist. Oh, so basically he came out, and it's not even worth talking about, but it is big news inside Ukraine and other places, to be quite honest. You know, you had the plane flying over a couple of days. I don't even address it. Okay, well, now there's secret negotiations going on between Russia and Washington and all of these things. Guys, come on. Really? Don't buy that stuff. And that was running around on social media and all this. Oh, there's the flight path. It's on Flight Radar 24. And then Gordon out coming with all of his trashy talk. It's getting ready to end. It's getting ready to end. There's going to be an end. And then before Gordon was to come on and make his speech at 10 o'clock Eastern, or 10 o'clock their Ukraine time, 3 p.m. Eastern. That's why I schedule my stream for 4, but I typically do 3 or 4. He comes back and says, oh, all that's off the table. None of that's happening. Russia's getting ready to put the hammer down on Ukraine. Basically, in a nutshell, Russia coming out and saying, yes, a plane went over there. Basically, we were doing a diplomatic shuffle. You know, what to believe or not to believe, it's irrelevant, guys. The bottom line is this war is raging, and all we really see is escalation. We see the Biden administration coming with good supply. We're going to talk about that. Some good news for Ukraine. We see Zelenskyy making an incredible change today. Please hear me. Please hear me. Today was the most important. Today was one of the most important appointments President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has ever made. It may be the most important, especially for the morale of the Ukrainian soldiers and the civilians. Today was an incredible day. We will be looking at that. Also, before we get going, let me do this for you right here. Boop. All right, guys, the patch cam specific today for Fish. If you are here and you say, okay, I'm new to the channel, Greg, I don't know who Fish is. Fish is a frontline soldier that I have been friends with for over 20 years. Today, I had a great phone conversation with him. Had a local supporter here in my hometown here in Western Pennsylvania called me and says, Greg, can I just meet you real quick for a cup of coffee? And I have some money I want you to take, and I want you to buy Fish in his unit an incredible meal and take it to them. So we did. He gave me some money, and that will be used directly to buy Fish's unit a meal. And I called Fish. Right, we were at Wendy's having a cup of coffee, and I called Fish. I said, listen, thank you for the donation for helping Fish. Why don't we call Fish? So we called Fish. Fish was actually eating dinner. He was not on rotation, and had a nice little conversation. So Fish is all excited. So this is Fish's actual patch here with his name. And if you're wondering why his call sign is Fish, it's because he's a professional fisherman in his real life. What's the news? Why the title? Thank you. Great question there, PR. So great news for Ukraine. We're going to be talking about that in regard to Zelenskyy, in regard to Russia doubling down with their statements, in regard to American aid and a huge prisoner exchange today, policy changes, just so much going on as we're moving into the new year. So there you guys have Fish, and we are ready to go. Thank you to the mods. Thank you for all that you're doing. I see also as we get going here, Linda S. Australia gifting 5 memberships. Thank you, Linda. Dunk on You 23, $20 super chat, Slava Ukraini, and gifting 10 memberships. Thank you for that. It's so important, guys, and so appreciated. You guys are helping us grow. And when I say us, that's us, all of us together. And we thank you for that. Thank you for liking the stream right now. If you're watching live, my number is saying 322 watching, 157 likes. Make sure you hit that like button. All of that helps. Papa Dutch, thank you also for gifting the 5 memberships. So guys, here we are. I'm leaving on Wednesday morning, and let's start here before we get into the news. I'm going loaded. because of you and your guys' kindness. So for that, we say thank you. Okay, we will be running aid to all of the units on the front that we support and others, and that's across the entire front line, really from Chernihiv all the way in the north, all the way around through Sumy, Kharkiv, down through Donetsk Oblast, Zaporizhia Oblast, Kherson Oblast, all of that. We run those big circles, and we will be delivering aid. We have a lot of units we will continue to work with, the 67th, the 141, the 54. I will be there with the 54th on their location, talking with the guys that we had the huge fundraiser for through NAFO with the drones, going to the 54th. I will be meeting with those guys, and you will see them on video together. So make sure if you're here and you're new and you don't know what's going on or whatever, make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on, because in Ukraine, I can go live at any moment. Zhenya and I can be riding around, something happens, I'll go live. Just live while driving, showing you some Ukrainian countryside, talk to Ukrainians. I mean, you name it, we're going as hard as we can on these runs, and a lot of stuff. We've got a lot of aid already stashed away and ready to drop. Papa Dutch sent some crazy things here: seeds, netting, air compressors, 24-volt for a armored medevac unit, signal attenuators or signal things. In fact, let me just show you guys a few things, and this is just sample. You guys are sending stuff all the time, or we have it shipped over there. This is one of the greatest things that we take there: quick clot gauze, Israeli bandages. Thank you to all of you guys. We'll be delivering some of this gauze I'm putting down here where I'm packing. This is really interesting, and I am taking these. In fact, I'm going to put that on the patch cam here. I want you all to see this, guys. And we're going to get into the news. Look at this. This is from Marlowe Sexton. Marlowe Sexton. Greg, I just wanted a way to help Ukraine, and I've been preparing to take these over. Christmas ornaments. She goes, I know you're busy, and there's a letter here. I won't, there, right there. Greg, I know you're quite busy and all that you do, but I just wanted to do something that I can do to help. And she had been making an ornament for Pete, and his ornament was 80% done when we lost Peter. And we've been talking about Pete over the last few days with Ma Rose, but these ornaments, I will take Pete's ornament to his unit, or one of these to his unit. She goes, I wish I had time to make thousands of them, but I'm an aging boomer with macular degeneration. Please disperse them as you decide. Making the ornaments was a labor of love and a small gift of appreciation for all the brave people fighting, not just for their democracy, but for ours as well. Only love. And from Marlowe. Marlowe, thank you so much, guys. And listen, these things, so lightweight, easy for me to carry over. I'll take, you know what? I might just take that one to fish right there. How about that? Let's take that one to fish. But this is why we just can get into anything so much. Shirley Neville saying, bless her heart. And guys, when you think about Marlowe having macular degeneration, basically very dark. I have a friend that has it very severely. It's almost blinding, very, very low light, just incredible. So thank you. Let's continue here. I'm taking these, we take balaclavas, already loaded over there, guys. Combat gauze, tourniquets, IFAC kits, all of these things that we take right to the front. Guys, these socks are amazing. We deliver these socks to keep the soldiers warm. Also, guys, you know that we will be delivering more sweat jackets and sweatshirts for the wounded soldiers. You guys have been donating for sweaters, because these hospitals where they are recovering, not the warmest, and the conditions are not always the best. But we will be delivering some sweatshirts and jackets to wounded soldiers. You will see them. Some of those guys will actually go on video with me, go live, maybe tell their story. Just be ready at any time. We're just going to push the media as hard as possible because we're really believing our team there that the first part of this year, Prof and I were talking about it, Johnny Pierce and I were talking about it, others are talking about it. You're talking about a very pivotal time in this war and also in the world coming into the new year, January 2025, in February. Guys, thermals. You guys have been loading us up with thermals. We'll be delivering thermals to the front lines. And we're just so thankful to all of you guys. You talking about some crazy things that I deliver. These little phone stands here, very lightweight. Soldiers need them so much, like their own position, or they need to hold an iPad into position. Here's larger ones. These coming in from, actually, I think Papa Dutch sent these. Papa, thank you. You had a great, it just comes with unique things. So getting those there, and don't worry, they're metallic. Just love, guys. It's just love. Slava Ukraine. Let's do this. And I'm going to get to the news, but this is so important, guys. We are a team, and you're going to be watching all of this. Slava Ukraine, Gerom, Slava, Zavždu i Naviki. It's just incredible. A lot of love. I'm going to drop these t-shirts somewhere. Papa Dutch just dropping the love. Olga's Pigeons. St. Olga's Pigeons. You know, really that goes in with, it goes in to the story with, oh, daggone it, I missed it. All right, go back to fish. I got to grab that. Hang on. Here you go, fish. There, you're seeing fish there. Let me come back now to the main cam. Here we go. Look at here, guys. I mean, it's just a lot of love here, man, and it's okay. I don't care. This is what it's about right here, showing the love. We'll take a Papa Dutch running around the front there. He's up on his scooter there, and look at here, St. Olga's Pigeons here. There we go. St. Olga's Pigeons really goes into line with the fundraiser we just did with Prof. Gertis for NAFO. Just so much stuff, guys. There's so much stuff. You send it, I show it. Here we go. And we'll get into the news now. Let me go back to this overhead cam here. That's Papa. Here we go. When positive people come together, the most astonishing discovery we find is that it is truly empowering. And that's it right there. And that's what we're doing together. So guys, if you're just joining, you're going, what in the heck is this YouTube guy doing? I'm showing a lot of love that is getting ready to get in my suitcase and my bags and head to Ukraine, and a lot of love that is already there. So thank you guys so much. Let me catch a couple of super chats here, and we're going right in. Mitch Ashdown, Canadian $10. May 2025 be a year of solutions. I completely agree 100%, as I know we all do, Mitch, but I can tell you January and February are going to be key for that, and we will talk about that coming up in just a moment. You know they exist. Time to clean the couch cushions for the new year. Oh, look what I found. Luck is to be shared. Share your luck in life. 522 super chat there. Thank you. Johnny Nedregard. Hello, Hope Train. Slava Ukraini, my Norwegian island dweller there. Johnny, thank you. Papa Dutch, $5 super chat. Once you start caring, it's actually hard not to. Funny about that. Petra Olsen, Swedish Crones, 129 non-smoking initiative. Again, 4 sweatshirts. Guys, you will see that. In fact, I'll be honest with you, out of all the aid we drop and of everything that we do, getting to the wounded soldiers is so powerful. In fact, I can tell you that one of our soldiers that we personally work with, call sign Olis, was injured and lost lost his hand, parts of his hands, and he's in the hospital recovering right now. We will get to him, and we will help him. The denim jacket is for Blonde Bombsheller. Okay, done deal. I will make sure Blonde Bombsheller gets the denim jacket. Thank you, Papa Dutch. All right, here we go, guys. Here we go. Let's jump right into it. So, title of the live, and I'm now going to back it up with the news. Zelenskyy appointing a new liaison. This is one of the most important things that could happen in Ukraine, period. He just proved today how much he cares for the soldiers. I believe this should have been done a long time ago, but we're making strides in the right pathway. So many times the soldiers just needed a liaison, just needed care. I can remember when Pete fell on the battlefield and we had to go through a lot for his funeral and for his ashes and for distribution of his ashes and getting ashes to his family. I mean, it was so much to do. Fortunately for us, we have so many friends in the military that, I mean, Anna, who is responsible for that in the Ukrainian army, they're out of Kyiv, actually personally assisted us and helped us. But we know her. You saw her on the video. We introduced you to Anna. She's just an amazing hero. But now, you know, that's everybody doesn't have those relationships. I'm thankful that we do, but everybody doesn't have them. But now Zelenskyy appointed Olga Reshetlova as the presidential commissioner of Ukraine for the protection of the rights of military personnel and family members of our soldiers. Long time overdue, but thank God it's happening right now. Olga's a well-known, experienced, and effective Ukrainian human rights activist. She's already done a lot to build our state institutions to support Ukraine. Zelenskyy emphasized that Ukrainian soldiers must receive effective tools to protect their rights, and real modernization of human resource management in the defense forces must take place. Finally, guys, this is what we needed. We needed a liaison taking care of Ukrainian soldiers' mental health. A lot of PTSD on the front lines. A lot of soldiers are exhausted. Their rotations aren't proper. Their vacation times aren't proper. All of this, interactions with families, wounded soldiers, soldiers killed in action. This has been so needed. And I'm telling you, this is huge news for Ukraine. And I truly believe with all of my heart, it continues to fight against the evil corruption that Ukraine is fighting against. Also, the decades of Soviet, just influence. Man, my brain's not working. Influence that is just pushed into Ukraine for decades and decades. Guys, I'm telling you right now, it's a huge deal. Mark Biscu, I just saw this one pop across the chat's rolling. Thank you all for being here, guys, today. $69.99 from Mark Biscu and Elena for whatever you may need there. With love and thanks, Mark and Elena, be safe. I certainly will do my best to be safe. But Mark and Elena, as dear friends of Johnny Pierce and ATP Geopolitics, and I've had the honor of eating in Elena's parents' home there in the South somewhere. And you know what, Mark and Elena? I think it message me, is Mama still there? And if so, it may be time for Greg and Jania to go, hello, how about some Ukrainian borscht? So let me know about that, and I would love to go and see them again. Guys, we're going nonstop on this one. So listen, when you hear about, okay, well, it's so corrupt, it's so bad. No. This is beautiful. Now, I believe other nations will come alongside and say, indoctrination. Thank you, Cheryl. I couldn't get it, indoctrination, and I don't know why I couldn't get it, but I couldn't. The bottom line is this, man. Other nations can now look at this and say, you know what? Some of the stories we've been hearing are changing, and that's a good thing. I will tell you right now, this is an encouragement to Ukrainian soldiers today. Good news. Guys, how about a prisoner exchange on the same day where Gordon's trash is running around the internet and the Oreshnik hijacking of Ukrainian television channels and the warning, here comes the Oreshnik, da-da-da-da-da. Huge prisoner exchange. The return of our people from Russian captivity is always very good news for each of us. I'm quoting Vladimir Zelenskyy, and today is one of those days. Our team managed to return 189 Ukrainians home. Vladimir Zelenskyy.
Slava Ukraini!
That is fantastic news, guys. Additionally, where do they come from? They were defenders of Azovstal. So, you know, Rick, the Ukrainians out there every Sunday with free Azovstal, free Azovstal. So here's some payoff for Rick's continued efforts and work. We had some Azovstal defenders. We had some Mariupol defenders. We had guys that were kidnapped at the very beginning of the war from the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Remember very early in the war, and the Russians were out digging in the Red Forest, and they were digging, and it was like crazy what they were doing, and they hijacked Chernobyl. Of course, Chernobyl not active anymore, but it's still monitored and maintained, and there's a staff there. And then they stole those soldiers, or, you know, took them as prisoners of war. Fortunately, because now they're being returned home. Also from Snake Island, we've had some prisoners returned, and from various directions of the front. Now, I want to share with you guys some videos here. Just let this speak to your heart right now. Let this speak to your heart. Susan, nice comment here. Wow, nice to hear exchange Ukrainian people coming back home. Yes, it is. Let me put this up here right now. $5 from Papa Dutch. The jacket is in recognition that Blonde Bombshell is one of the best moderators we could possibly have. Thank you. I concur. In fact, I'm so blessed with our moderation team. Blonde Bombsheller. Yana's in here today from Project Konstantin helping. It just Dunk on You 23. Guys, the amount of work that happens behind the scenes is crazy. And if you haven't joined our Discord, please do it. It's not just a Discord where we just, first of all, it's not allowed to be toxic, because if it's going to be toxic, I'll just delete it. No toxicity. But you can have good conversation. You can learn from each other. You can be respectful, share videos, share recipes, family pictures. I mean, you name it. It's a growing community, and it's a place that just kind of separates us and shows some goodness of humanity. So consider that. The link is in the description there. So thank you to all of our team. They're just amazing and going to be so important when we're rolling. I guess, Mod, y'all better be ready, though, because I'm going to be 7 hours ahead of you. But I'd like to still do live streams daily at about this time. So if you guys are used to myself going live 3, 4 o'clock Eastern, whatever that works out in your world, still want that to try to be the standard time. And I typically will almost go live every day at that time, plus other videos, plus other human interest stories, interviews, you name it. Aid drops, it will be a lot of media and information coming. Make sure you're subscribed. So take a look at some of these videos here.
We're so grateful to you all. Thank you so much. It's truly wonderful. Thanks for coming back. We really appreciate it. We love you.
So basically what you're seeing there is you're seeing the bus where the Ukrainian POWs are being loaded up, taken back. And the first thing they're given is flags, like bottle of water. And then they are given cards that are from people that have just been waiting just to start getting them back in. And that's what they were reading there. How about some more here? Look at this gentleman. There's the flag. They're just holding on to the Ukrainian flag there. And I'll be honest with you guys. Fortunately, those guys look like at least they had something to eat. So I'm very, very thankful for that. 189 Ukrainians being returned today. It's incredible, and we're so grateful for it and so thankful. Now, I have a couple more videos I'm going to show you, and I think I may need to translate one, and I will. But just...
Як вона тебе ждала, як вона тебе чекала, як вона тебе кожен раз на цій біді задавала.
Это все закончилось.
Все, Вася, все хорошо, ты дома.
Home. It's all finished. I mean, just powerful. Now, what's interesting is you see that gentleman there, and I may play that one again. Check this out. He's making the call.
Алло,
Hello.
Давай я... Все добре.
Listen, everything's okay. I'm back.
Як діти. Як...
Флаг Маріупольська тероборона.
And this is the same.
Як вона тебе ждала? Як вона тебе чекала? Як вона тебе... Кожен раз на цій біді називала.
Это все закончилось.
Все, Вася, все хорошо, ти вдома.
Wow. And here's another one. I was going to voice this over for you, but Anton Garashenko went ahead and put subtitles on it, so I'll read it for you. Here you go.
Любіть Україну, як сонце.
Love you, Ukraine.
Як квіти, і
Love
трави, і
you with the
води.
sun, the wind, the grass, and the
Години
waters
щасливої,
together. Love
радості.
her happy hours.
Любіть у годину негоди.
Joys are one and love her in the time of
Для
stormy
нас
weather.
на світі єдина одна.
For us, she's the one, the
У
only
квіті
unique, in
убожені,
each
у
flower,
думі,
an epic song,
дитячі усмішки,
the child's
дівочі
smile and
уста,
maiden soft lips,
і стяги багряні.
and the purple flags above the
Любіть
throng.
Україну,
Love Ukrainian
весні
dreams and win away.
вишневу свою Україну.
Cherry blossom Ukraine.
Красу її вічно живу і молоду.
Eternal forever.
Мову її солов'їну.
And her speech is sweet as the night. And guys, if you're wondering, he's not just quoting that out, just talking about it. That's actually a quote from a very, very famous poem there in Ukraine, and he's just quoting it. And guys, we could stop the stream right there because we've talked about the stuff we're taking and what's going to be going on over the next month and a half or so as we're rolling aid in Ukraine, and we've got the NAFO meeting there and the aid being dropped. But man, when you see that prisoner exchange and the title of Great News for Ukraine, there's the great news for Ukraine. Secondly, when you see the news about Zelenskyy appointing a mediator to represent soldiers and families, and that's great news for Ukraine. Phenomenal news for Ukraine. So guys, thank you so much. Let me get over here. Let's see here. Linda S. Okay. Hold on here a second. I've got to get this. Okay, guys, I need to look up something. We're live and we're in no hurry here. Pether Olson for the sweatshirts. I got that one. Papa Dutch jacket for Blonde Bombsheller. Papa Dutch, I thought I PM'd you about that. You may have, Papa, but I've got it now, and it will get to her. I'll get it in the mail tomorrow before I leave. Let me go back to the main cam here. Mark Biscuit, we got that. Linda S. Australia. There it is. Australian $200. Chocolate or hot chocolate, please, for the troops to raise their spirits in the cold weather. Linda S., Australia. Chocolate or hot chocolate, please, for the troops to raise their spirits in the cold weather. Put it in the bank. We've been doing this, from day one, and you guys that have stuck with us, and we've grown now and now growing like crazy, we do what we say we're going to do and we finish it. So Linda, you can put that in the bank. It'll be there. Ruby Star, welcome to new crew member. Ohms, crew member for 9 months. Slava Ukraini, Geroim Slava. Thank you guys all. Now, let's continue with the good news here. And it's going to be a little interesting now. Biden, immediate release. This news was coming out late last night. In fact, Zelenskyy on his evening address was talking about we're going to have some good news coming from the United States. There's the official letter. I will not read it from you for immediate release December the 30th, 2024, but I will summarize it for you. Let's break it down. Biden announced allocation of almost $2.5 billion to Ukraine. Understand it, though. The first half of the money will be invested in the production of weapons, which Ukraine may receive in months or even years. So half of it basically into production here in the United States, maybe elsewhere, I don't know, but most likely the United States investing back. And, this is so good for all of those liars out there like Elon Musk and Senator Mike Lee. Did I just say that? I think so. This is really good for all of those liars out there like Elon Musk and Senator Lee, who say that Ukraine is nothing but a corrupt place and the biggest embezzling scheme in the history of the world and all of that trash. I have to answer this question so many times when people talk about these numbers and all they see is headlines and they have no clue what they're talking about. A majority of the aid, specifically that the United States has given Ukraine, has been invested back into the United States economy. That's a fact. And we're seeing it here. So why don't they come out and discuss this? No, they'd rather just spew their mess, just spew their trash. It's just... Daniel, I remember too. Daniel Svedman. I remember when I was alone watching the Greg stream. Amazing how big it has become. Thank you, Daniel. You remember. You are OG, brother. And we're just thankful because we're doing our best to make a difference. That's it. The second half, $1.23 billion, is weapons from the U.S. Army's reserves, which will be transferred in the near future. Let's break it down a little bit further. What is coming? Ammunition for counter-drone systems, and this is not the exhaustive list, but just so you can hear it. Ammunition for air defense, ammunition for HIMARS, 155 millimeter and 105 millimeter artillery shells, air-to-ground munitions, Javelin anti-tank systems, and Swedish AT-4 ATGMs, tow missiles, fragmentation of frag grenades, blasting, which are unfortunately so important on those frontline battles, blasting equipment and ammunition, communications, training, software, clothing, so important. We help deliver that. Personal equipment, spare parts for existing equipment already inside Ukraine, auxiliary equipment. I know that is some communication equipment, plus others, training and transport vehicles. Ohms, $5 super chat. Senator Warren wrote an article about firearm safety. Here it is. Let me see. I can push that up there. And long-term, do your best to keep your troops informed and safe. Completely agree, Ohms. Thank you for that. Listen, there's some good things happening. You see how it works, Papa Dutch? I knew there was a reason I was supposed to be here tonight. Catching the jacket was proof.
Слава Україні!
The bottom line is, guys, thank you all for your support for Ukraine and for all that we do. And just hang on. You're getting ready to see it in action. And you know that. Thank you so much. So good news, support coming for Ukraine. Now, I want to look at this news here and I want to address it because I personally also believe that this is good news for Ukraine. And we may have a difference of opinion here, and that's okay. But in my opinion now, this is not a facts-only video where I'm just stating facts. This is facts on what Lavrov said, but let's just put a little bit of analysis on it, okay? You have Ukraine fighting for their sovereignty, fighting for their recognized 1991 internationally recognized borders, including the regions of Lugansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Kherson, and Crimea. You have Ukraine on the defense. You have Kursk offensive and the counteroffensives that they have done, but in general on the defense, meaning they were invaded by a nuclear nation. After having given up their nukes in exchange for security guarantees that have been a complete failure. Okay, so this is where we're at. During all of that time, Ukraine has offered to find ways to solve this without giving up their borders, working on peace summits, had a peace summit in the past, early negotiations in 22 that were failures, but continued to try through diplomatic methods and means to resolve this war to no avail. We hear the rumors that, oh, well, you know, Putin and Trump, they're meeting behind the scenes and all this. Guys, that's a bunch of baloney. We have a raging war. And today, Lavrov, yesterday actually, on TASS, this is an interview he gave TASS, Russian state media. I won't bore you with reading it or playing it, but this is his interview. This is what he said. Number one, Russia does not plan to participate in the second peace summit. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov. Great. I know that sounds really weird, but great. Why would I say great? Because all it continues to do is reveal to the rest of the world your true colors of a warmongering, evil regime led by Vladimir Putin and the cronies like this guy Lavrov, the propagandist, who are interested in nothing other than global destabilization, a new world order, and a fracture of all that is good. So even rejecting an invitation to a peace summit in the long run will be good news for Ukraine, because it will continue to identify to the world that this is an evil invading nation. For some reason, they struggle to still believe that in many places of the world, the United States included, in some areas. The Russian Federation plans to lift restrictions on medium and short-range missiles with nuclear warheads. So let's just blow away our contracts and our treaties. Okay. So that's yesterday, Lavrov on TASS. He then said, Ukraine insists on the 1991 borders and the withdrawal of Russian troops, which according to Lavrov could lead to ultimatums, meaning we can't return them to the 91 borders. We can't withdraw our troops, because if we do that, we then could show weakness. And then what has happened, I'm translating this for you, the meaning of it, smysly, the meaning of it, is that now we're on the end of the ultimatum receiving, because Ukraine has said from day one, 1991 borders, not 2016, 2014, 2013, 1991 internationally recognized borders, and withdrawal of all Russian troops. Lavrov coming out and saying, if we do that, then we're on the receiving end of the ultimatum. Once again, I remind you guys, the only way you can deal with a bully is to smack the bully in the head. It's the only way you can deal with a snake, and you have to do it. You will never negotiate with these clowns. And the reason you will not negotiate, and even now, many people around the Trump administration saying, okay, we see that Moscow and Kyiv doesn't want to work together. We see that there's no real horizon out there where we can see negotiating a peace. We then begin to hear rumors, okay, well, we're going to supply more. We're going to continue to supply. EU needs to kick in 5% NATO. Take all that and push it aside. We have to be patient. As Prof and even Johnny and I were talking about, just be patient and we will see what unfolds from that. But you're seeing the reality of Russia way before that. They don't care. This is all they care about. Lavrov continued, Russia considers Ukraine's non-aligned status to be the main goal of the special operation. Directly out of Lavrov. So I thought the main reason for the special operation was to liberate your territories and to protect Russians who were under the evil Kyiv regime, the Nazi regime of Kyiv, the illegitimate president of Zelenskyy. But you came out yesterday on TASS and you say that the main goal is to make sure, let's just call it, that Ukraine does not become a member of NATO. Lavrov goes on to say in his TASS interview, NATO is obviously involved in long-range missile strikes on Russia. Well, good. This is good news for Ukraine. It may not seem like it, but guys, all it does is continue to reveal the true intentions of this evil dictator, Vladimir Putin, and his cronies. That's it. Kim Jong-un, good news for Ukraine. Good news for Ukraine. And maybe I view it differently. I don't know. But for me, it's good news. They need to show their true colors. And you know what? They're just showing it. North Korea to launch the toughest strategy to counter the U.S. This is coming out of North Korea. The United States is the most reactionary state considering anti-communism its permanent state policy. This must be addressed. Kim Jong-un making this big speech. The growing ties between South Korea, the U.S., and Japan have turned into a nuclear military bloc for aggression. I'm coming back to that statement in just a second. South Korea has become an outspoken anti-communist outpost of the United States. The reality clearly shows which direction we should move in, what we should do, and how we should do it. Kim Jong-un. It's the same story we hear about Ukraine and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Remember? Oh, they're nothing but an American outpost. They're nothing but Western outpost. They're nothing but a European outpost. They're nothing but a NATO wannabe. They're nothing but a thorn in our flesh, a thorn in our side. And now you see Kim Jong-un saying the same thing about South Korea. They're nothing but an American outpost. Oh, they're nothing but a military bloc that is building against us, including South Korea, the United States, and Japan. This is a block of aggression against us. Now, go back to the agreement. And I know I'm going deep on you now, but I'm telling you, go back to the agreement that began in June, now ratified over this fall and early winter, where Russia and North Korea have a binding military pact in case of aggression to come to each other's aid. This is why Ukraine going into Kursk, we see North Koreans there in Kursk. Guys, North Koreans are also inside Ukraine. They may not be fighting on the zero line yet, but they're inside Ukraine, validated Lugansk, Donetsk, and the city of Mariupol. Validated. They're there. And now we see Kim Jong-un saying the same things. And now it's about South Korea. Isn't it interesting? Go back. Just look at the overthrow, the coup that happened a few weeks ago, attempt. And we see all the destabilization in South Korea, in Seoul. We know that up to 100,000 soldiers over time will come Russian direction. Missiles, the KH-23s, KN-23s, 22s, 23s, artillery. You say, well, it's old and junky. It's mass, and it's a lot of it. Well, their soldiers are terrible. They're just being killed. It's mass. It's people. And it's a problem. But this is what we're seeing. Flip it now. This is good news. So, man, it's not good news when you're saber-rattling like that. Oh, it's good news. Wake up, world. You can't just wave a magic wand and make a speech and everybody goes home and everybody's happy and Putin takes his tanks back home and his missiles and he tucks them away and we live on in happiness and dream that this never happened. Never. It's not going backwards. The West and the East have a major division and rift. It is public now. We also have the military pact, the agreement between Russia and Iran developing. We're seeing it every day. This is good news for Ukraine, because it's going to continue to show the world we have a problem here. Mertzy, member for 10 months, my buddy, supporter of Ukraine, working, partnering. I know where you're going. Slav Ukraini. Johnny Nedergaard, Norwegian 22 Krones. We should at least match the Shaheeds, no limits. I completely agree. Completely agree. Papa Dutch $5 super chat. Curious note, in the game The Elder Scrolls, there are guilds. One of them is the Liars Guild. It reminds me of the Kremlin. Yeah, yes, sir, brother. If their mouth is moving, it's not truthful. Now, guys, this is a big story here. And the reason I'm going to call it a big story and can be a positive turn for Ukraine is because, and I am not a hopium dude. I have lost so many friends on the front lines in this war, personal friends. Not a hopium guy. I'm a realist. And the way I'm sharing these stories today is realism. The world, hopefully, is waking up to the reality of what we're dealing with Russia, North Korea, and Iran, and Syria. Here is Ahmed al-Shara. Ahmed al-Shara, the new Syrian government, is against, everybody listen to this, the new Syrian government, and he is the Syrian government leader right now, like the prime minister, Ahmed al-Shara. Go look it up. The new Syrian government is against Russia's withdrawal from the country. The head of the Syrian administration, Ahmed al-Shara. This is what he said, quote, Russia is the second most powerful country in the world and plays an important role. In Syria, strategic interests coincide with those of the Russian Federation. That is highlighted in orange for you. In Syria, strategic interests coincide with those of the Russian Federation. What are those strategic interests? Invading your neighbors, wiping people off the planet, spreading your evil? I'm just asking a question. Good. Go ahead and expose your hand, be a very bad poker player, and just tell the world so that hopefully nations wake up and are waking up and realizing that the battle, the war in Ukraine is not just for Ukraine, but it's global. This happening in Syria is not just a regional conflict with Israel and Hezbollah and Hamas and Syria and Iran, Houthis, Yemen. No, this is all connected. You're going to find the Kremlin right at the root of it all. He said, we do not want Russia to leave our country in a way that is inconsistent with our relations. So listen very closely. And this is so interesting because I didn't have time to translate it, but I can share it with you and tell you guys that this is interesting. On the same day, let's just call it same 24 hours, 36 hours, that Ahmed al-Shara is saying these things, and specifically in Syria, strategic interests coincide with those of the Russian Federation. At the same time, do you know where Subiga was? Who was Subiga? Foreign Minister of Ukraine. He was in Syria, representing the Ukrainian government and President Zelenskyy, saying, Ukraine will send 500 tons of wheat flour to Syria as humanitarian aid. Foreign Minister Andrei Subiga, together with the Minister of Agrarian Policy and Food, Vitaly Koval, visited Damascus and held important talks with Syrian administration leader Ahmed al-Shara and ministers. As we promised, the first 500 tons of Ukrainian wheat flour should arrive tomorrow, and then there will be new deliveries as well as deepening mutually beneficial cooperation in many areas. Okay, guys, if somebody explain this to me, please explain this to me. Here, how can sweet and poison water come out of the same well? How can pure and poisonous water come out of the same well? Because here, Ahmed al-Shara is saying in Syria, strategic interests coincide with those of the Russian Federation. Russia, please don't leave Syria. Keep your bases here. Keep your soldiers here. Keep your equipment here. And then here, Ukraine showing their generosity and their care for humanity, sending 500 tons of wheat flour to Syria as humanitarian aid, not as a check, not to raise money to fund their defense against Ukraine, but as humanitarian aid, sent the foreign minister, Subiga, with the agrarian policy director, Vitaly Koval, went to Damascus and met with this cat, Ahmed al-Shara, who openly, of course, will thank you for the aid. Now, why? I wish I would have had time to translate Zelenskyy's statement tonight looking into his phone, but I will tell it to you now. For me, this is positive for Ukraine, of course. It has to be, because Ukraine is showing they care. Ukraine is showing they love. Ukraine is showing that they are people who care about other people in their own demise right now, in their own state where they are losing people and they are losing land and they are losing soldiers and they are losing civilians and infrastructure and power and hospitals and schools and banks and you name it. They still care enough to recognize that Syria is demolished and say, you know what, we want to help you guys eat. We're going to send you some humanitarian aid of grain. And then this guy, Ahmad al-Shara, can say, Russia, please don't leave. We have similar interests. Now, how do I know tonight that Zelenskyy is not happy? I should have just delayed the stream 10 minutes. I don't want to do, I like to try to be on time and translated this for you guys. But tonight, Zelenskyy on his evening address addressed this situation. He said, and I'm not quoting verbatim, I'm just summarizing. He said, we have sent forth love and care with humanitarian aid to Syria. We have communicated, we have sent Subiga, we have communicated with the government there, including Ahmed al-Shara. We also see other things that Syria is stating. And this is what he said. We hope in the days coming that Syria will respect and abide by international law. That's it. That's what he said. Therefore, you can recognize Ukraine doing their best to give love and care, seeing what Ahmed al-Shara says. Zelenskyy saying, okay, we're willing to help and give you some food. But man, you better respect international law. So we shall see. Once again, in my opinion, good news for Ukraine. Ukraine showing their care and their love, that they are good people, cares about humanity. While at the same time, the same person as the figurehead giving aid to is getting, man, sure hope Russia doesn't leave. Good news for Ukraine. World, continue to wake up and recognize there are no regional conflicts. All of these are connected, and the root of it is Vladimir Putin. That's the root. You see Kim Jong-un now going absolutely crazy with his statements. It's the same story over and over and over. We're going to continue to see it, but good news for Ukraine. That's the way I see it. Ukraine mission in the house. Thank you for everything that you do. Papa Dutch, $10 super chat. You know, the question people should ask themselves when evaluating a nation is whether it's successful or not. And Russia is obviously is not. They are not, but that's not how they're going to spin it. And unfortunately, Papa Dutch, humanity has allowed these roots to be in places, especially in Asia, the Middle East, the propaganda that's taken root globally from the Russian propaganda machine that is masters, the African connections. I mean, just look at Syria. You have Syria where the leader is receiving Ukrainian aid in one hand, and the other hand he's going, yeah, we love you, Russia. Please don't leave. We have common interest. What common interest do you have? It's evil. That's the common interest you have. Peskov. More. Jess Hart, member for 1 month, crew member. 1 month member, found you through Mercado Media. Thank you for that, Jess. Hey, Skaghead, another one of our great moderators. He is from the land down under. So when I go on Goofy Times, Skag. Welcome to you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Peskov. This is Putin's press secretary, guys. Now, not Putin's personal reporter. Remember, that's Zarubin, the guy running around, the little nerdy guy with the glasses. The one that can get close to Putin with the iPhone and ask him questions. The only one you ever see ask Putin questions. Zarubin. This is Peskov, press secretary. We have seen zero preconditions that have been met for ending the war or any phase of it. In fact, we see quite the opposite. Now, pay attention on this one, and we're coming towards the end. We've seen zero preconditions. So, translated, and I quoted that for you, put it in English. Ukraine in the West has done nothing to come to what we require to end this war. Now, this is translated perfectly. My Ukrainian may be okay, but my Russian's pretty good. We have seen zero preconditions that have been met for ending the war. The Russian word that was used here out of Dmitry Peskov's mouth was vaina. 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 Vaina translated war. Not special military operation. Not conflict. Not liberation. Peskov himself used the word vaina. War. The West hasn't done anything to end this to our satisfaction. Ukraine hasn't done anything to end this to our satisfaction. What are they to do? Give up their land, their culture, and their people? Come on, man. Once again, world, wake up and recognize the divide over the last 24 to 48 hours has grown even deeper. All of these statements out of Russia. U.S. kicking in some serious aid. Kim Jong-un spewing his craziness. I spent 10 minutes talking about Syria on this because it's important. It's important. All of this is connected. And hopefully, the United States and Europe, other nations, so supportive of Ukraine. I think of Australia and Japan and many, many others. And I hope you're seeing this. Peskov also said, you know, here are the first steps towards peace that we have seen. This is pure Russia. This is how they do it. So we're invading. We're threatening to launch another Oreshnik, and this time it'll be loaded. We've brought in North Koreans, physically, soldiers fighting for us in the meat grinder. We're using Iranian shaheeds and missiles. We're using North Korean missiles and artillery. We're bringing more. Kim Jong-un is now going to send us drones. Our war machine is on nonstop, 24/7. We're producing more drones than ever. We've got plenty of missiles. We're ready to roll. But the first steps towards peace that we have seen from Ukraine in the West is this. The Pentagon in the process of transferring hundreds of thousands of artillery rounds and missiles to Kyiv. So how is that peace? We see U.S. now today sending all this aid. That's not peace. The U.S. has allocated another $2.5 billion to Ukraine, according to the White House. That's not peace. We saw Joe Biden's letter. The U.S. will provide Ukraine with $15 billion in future income from frozen Russian assets, according to Ukrainian Prime Minister Shmyhal. Well, that's not peace, I guess. And this is what he said. Before leaving office, Biden has decided to finally bury Ukraine and Ukrainians. So it's okay for them to do whatever they want. But for Ukraine to defend itself and for nations to come alongside and help defend, we do not have a foreign nation. I mean, they're an international legion. There are volunteers. North Korea's there and the world just lets it happen. And I know right now they're saying, well, they're on Russian territory. They're there and they're fighting. But we don't see any peace steps from the West. All we see is escalation. Guys, I just believe this is going to be positive in the long run for Ukraine. I'm just optimistic that nations, United States, European nations, others are just going to see, you know what? Russia's doubling down. Russia's doubling down. Russia's doubling down. It is not time to show weakness. It's time to show strength. And this one, guys, I don't get this at all, to be honest. I don't want to mispronounce your name. I also have to be careful when you get a name because people will trick you sometimes. And then you read it and you go, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Carrie Pomo. You know what? I'm just going to read that in the as if that was Ukrainian. So we'll call it Seruromo. Seruromo. Are the nations of South Korea and Israel now fully unleashed in assisting Ukraine? No, they are not. There are clear interests now for both to openly assist. Yes, there is. And I just am hoping some of this starts coming. Perry Como backwards. Okay, now I got you. You're going to make me start singing Perry Como, man. I got you. Thank you. So cool. So no, they're not. But definitely these things are helping. These things are helping. Now, can somebody please explain to me this? And let me say this, Blonde Bombshell are gifting 5 memberships. And BB, you do know you have a jean jacket on the way. I'm sure you've seen that. So thank you to Papa Dutch. Guys, I just don't get it. So we saw the tweet that come out that Ukraine was, the biggest money laundering scheme in the world, in the history. And then we saw the tweet lines that go down, like Clay Thompson, and I'm calling that name, Zelenskyy generally pulled off one of the greatest money heists of all time. It's like, how stupid are you? Sorry, but how stupid are you? mean, do you really think Zelenskyy is loading his pockets and building a mansion in the Canary Islands? Are you that ignorant? Have you drunk, consumed that much Kool-Aid, Kremlin Kool-Aid? Vladimir Zelenskyy is the best wartime president that we've seen in a long time. And I know there have been other good wartime presidents and prime ministers and leaders. I don't want to start calling them, but phenomenal job. The man risked his life. He has small kids, I mean, teenagers, and goes to the stinking front. I mean, the front. But he is pulling off the biggest money laundering scheme in the history of the world. And we see here Elon Musk, of course, all-time champ. December the 30th, 2:14 a.m. That's what under that. All-time champ. Now, guys, okay. Number one, I'm going to make the prediction right here. I've discussed this with Johnny Pierce, who is my dear friend, but you know, we look at things differently politically and philosophically sometimes and religiously, but we're brothers, man. And Gertis, conservative. There is no way. So I'm telling you, discussed with, you know, and Gertis and Johnny are great friends, but there's no way Elon Musk and Donald Trump exist in the same universe for much longer. I'm just going to put that out there. I think they're going to have a big conflict. I just don't see how it happens. But that's not the topic for now. This is the topic. Elon Musk saying all-time champ against Zelenskyy. Now, here's the question I have for you guys, and we'll start winding it down here because I've got to keep packing. Starlink today confirming that they have signed an agreement with Kyivstar. If you're here and you do not know what Kyivstar is a Ukrainian mobile phone company. It would be like, you know, T-Mobile or Verizon or Orange or Vodafone, wherever you're at in the world. Okay. Kyivstar, large company there. When we are traveling, I use all cell companies there, Kyivstar, Life, and others, Vodafone. And we're constantly jumping between because it just depends on where you're at and which towers are working. But Kyivstar has signed an agreement with Starlink to use satellite communications in Ukraine beginning in the second half towards the end of 2025. This will ensure stable communications during power outages and expand coverages, giving even cellular satellite technology to Ukrainians to help them. Okay. I do not understand, guys, and I'm trying to be very fair here. Okay. Jake, are you in here, buddy? I see people saying hello to Jania. Can somebody answer me how you could follow a tweet line that says, you know, Zelensky's the biggest money launderer of all time and Ukraine is nothing but a money laundering pit. And you could say all-time champ and support it. But at the same time, your company can actually do something positive for Ukraine. I do not know the answer to this, ladies and gentlemen. I really don't. I can tell you right now, in Ukraine, I use Starlink. We can be right in the middle of nowhere and it's working. In the cold nights and the war, there on the front, on multiple occasions, being there with soldiers, we look up in the sky and you can see the line of satellites coming across the horizon. And you just look at them and you go, okay, that's how I'm communicating. And it's a blessing. We're very thankful. They're very thankful. Ukraine using Starlink effectively. So how can you even say, you know, Starlink's not going to work on the Russian side? And of course, the Russians hack it. They do. That's a fact. But in general, Starlink, Ukrainians can use it. They're using it. Oh, in addition, we're going to come out in the second half of 2025 with Keystar and give people direct cell to satellite access. And then at the same time, honestly spew something completely opposite out of your mouth. So one half, your company is helping Ukraine in ways that are even beyond dollar value. The ability to communicate is beyond dollar value. And at the same time, you talk about a money laundering pit and scheme and Zelenskyy and the evil. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm thankful for Starlink. I'm thankful that Keystar is going to partner and have some cellular activity there. But I don't get it. But I know one thing. It's going to be difficult for this to continue. It's just going to be difficult for this to continue as we go forward. So we shall see. Because Musk is bipolar. Now, with that hobby time, I think that's absolutely accurate. Papa Dutch, too loud. The Musk and Trump coalition is evolving. Well, you know what happens when things evolve. They can evolve and devolve. But we shall see. Guys, thank you so much. This has been an incredible stream. I hope it's been helpful for you. The title was Great News for Ukraine. We looked at it from different areas. If you're here and you joined late, thank you for being here, subscribing, liking, commenting. I'm leaving in way under 48 hours, 36, I don't know, less than that, and heading to Ukraine on New Year's Day. We'll be there. Talk to my team there in Warsaw today, make sure I get out of Warsaw and get over to the train I need to get to, and everything's already lined up and ready to go. And looking forward to being your hands, your eyes, your feet on the ground, doing the best we can to support Ukraine, support truth, and stand for what is right. I do legitimately believe today's a very good, okay, yes, Shane is here. I do believe today's a very good day for Ukraine. In general, I just believe a lot of information came today that helps nations see, and I know we're doing the same. So thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for telling others. If you're new and you haven't hit the subscribe button or the notification button, make sure you do that and turn it on, because go live at any time or drop videos at any time, especially when inside Ukraine, more regular and on a different schedule, to be honest. Thank you for your support. We will do our best to be your hands, eyes, and feet. Probably not alive tomorrow, just prepping to get out of here. Probably drop a facts-only video, just depending. There's a lot of stuff happening even right now. And, of course, if anything goofy goes on, we'll be right on it the best we can. Thank you, guys. Thanks to the mods. There's some guys you'll be seeing in the future. There's Kola. There's Zhenya in the top middle. There's Oleg Mikolaevich. You'll see him. There's Wasp. You'll see Wasp. Behind my shoulder there is Vadim from the 54th. You'll be seeing him as well. Just, guys, a lot. And let's close with this. Papa Dutch saying, Happy New Year, everyone. And that's what I say to all of you, to you and yours and your families. Consider you family. And we appreciate all of you. You guys be blessed. And we will see you as soon as we can. God bless you. Good night.
Слава Україні!